Prof, you're welcome to this show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
As a prominent face in the Nigerian economy, how would you access Nigeria at 57?
When we started out as an independent nation, Nigeria was actually a transition economy that was moving from what was essentially a peasant agriculture economy through a plantation economy. Before independence or before colonial intervention, most of what is Nigeria today was essentially involved in peasant agriculture. And I keep talking about peasant agriculture, and a gentleman called Scott, who wrote a book, The Moral Economy of the Peasant. And Scott makes the point that it begins with Tony's metaphor. It says that the peasant is so deep in water that even a ripple can drown him. That is to say, the peasant doesn't have a storehouse of value. You know, he just produces to survive and go on. With colonial intervention, we had an introduction of crops and, you know, agro produce of different types. And one of the ways that we manage those cash crop or economies of the various regions was essentially through the marketing boards, the produce marketing boards. The produce marketing boards for the West, Western Nigeria produce marketing board, Eastern Nigeria, Northern Nigeria. These had representation in the UK, their own accounts that were significantly in surplus during the colonial era. In fact, Pius Okibo, in his book on Nigerian public accounts, makes an interesting remark that at the time of self-government, by 56, 57, most of those produce marketing boards had such significant surpluses in the UK. This is the nature of how the evolution of our economy was affected by this relationship. So that convergence of soldiers and oil, a unifying, unitary type government at the center, easy money coming now from oil exports, and we dipped into what my friend Richard Joseph came to describe in his own work as bureaucratic prebendalism.
So far, it is quite glaring that ICT has not been given the desired attention it deserves as it is in other advanced nations. From all indications, ICT is a driver of all the sectors in the nation. Why are we still lagging behind from your own perspective?
I think fundamentally it's not even so much as lagging behind in ICT, it's lagging behind in education.
In education?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because education invariably will thrust you in the right direction. There has been a loss of momentum in education. And to put it in proper context, I'd like to remind people that, you know, just at the time of independence, Nigeria wanted to reflect on the direction of higher education in Nigeria. You got a gentleman from Oxford called Eric Ashby to chair a commission on higher education in Nigeria. So Eric Ashby's commission found that the quality of higher education in Nigeria around 61, 62 was as good as the very best in the world. In fact, Eric Ashby was quoted as saying that in 1961, it was easier to get into the university, to get into Harvard University, than to get into the University of Ibadan. That's the kind of level Nigeria was at. And let's not forget that UCH in Ibadan was considered the second best hospital in the entire Commonwealth, including the UK, Australia, and all of that. So with those kinds of standards, you would think, my God, where Nigeria would be today. Unfortunately, it is not so. I recall when, I recall when we had the LWT in which we honored Professor Akinkugbe. Professor Akinkugbe, you know, made the point that he ran into Eric Ashby just before he died. And Eric Ashby was disappointed that Nigeria did not follow the direction that was set out in the work of the Ashby Commission.
Okay, away from all of this, let's look at politics now. For you once contested as the president of Nigeria, but it looks like you have jettisoned on this idea, or have you given up?
Public life is about service,
Yes.
and service is about sacrificial giving of oneself for the good of others.
Okay.
Leadership is other-centered behavior, not self-centered behavior. So when the word ambition is used, I say, oh, my ambition is, then first of all, you don't understand what you're supposed to be trying to do. You are part of the problem. Because people in politics for themselves are the reason we have the problem we have in Nigeria. I really think that politics should be about you looking around your community, you look at somebody who has served you all well, and say, look, my friend, come and go on an errand for us. Go and do that job. That's the way politicians should emerge. Not, I have an ambition, and you sell your house, and you're going to go and steal. There's no other thing you're going to do.
Your last leadership series focused on ICT, that is the evolution of ICT and the speed of change. How do we leverage on the opportunities to galvanize the desired change and development?
I have personally been involved significantly in the evolution of the ICT industry in Nigeria. It's something that most people don't realize and don't. So I was literally involved in the founding of Linkserve, the ISP that put Nigeria on the internet, as you will. I was involved in generating a major interest through what we call leapfrog ventures. I brought some Nigerians from the US back to engage the e-commerce terrain. And that led to a company called SocketWorks. And most of the young Nigerian entrepreneurs who are playing leadership roles in the industry today cut their teeth in SocketWorks. I'm obviously involved in a number of other IT related projects, and the whole concept of Smart City Lagos was one that I have been involved with in trying to build. So I'm hoping that by example, one can affect the environment and the commitment to building an ICT savvy economy.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. I really do appreciate it.